Hey guys, and welcome to Car Guy 1999 Reviews as well as Quirk Auto Dealers. Today we have part 2 of how to drive manual, and we're going to be taking a look at probably the most feared part of driving a manual, hill starts. I found a nice little hill to get some practice on for us, and we're just going to do a couple laps around, just kind of going through the motions and getting used to hill starts. Now this is a pretty aggressive hill. Obviously there's more aggressive, there's less aggressive, and that's going to kind of change how you go about things. But all the motions are going to be the same, just with different speeds. Today we're going to be demonstrating on the 2021 Volkswagen Golf GTI. This is the Mark 7 edition. We get another year of that here in the US. Really nice car. Now, for getting used to hill starts, I recommend you get used to starting on flat surfaces before you start trying this. If you really don't have all the motions exactly right, it's going to be very difficult for you to go about and get this right. Also, for learning manual, I highly suggest some smaller sole shoes. These are my driving shoes. They don't need to be as flat foot as this, but you know, a nice thin pair of sneakers just really helps you get the feel of everything a bit better. Go ahead, sit inside. Alright, so we are inside the car. Now, as before, most of the times, this is going to be as if you're parked on a hill. This demonstration is going to be that. So, most times you'll be parked on a hill, e-brake on all the time, of course, and in gear. To start the car, as before, foot on the clutch, foot on the brake. This one is the S model, so it has the turn key. And there you go. You can take your foot off the clutch and foot off the brake, and you're parked. Now, for starting on a hill, the reason why I said you need to learn the basics is because it's all about the engagement point and how quickly you get there. Now, as you start to do this more and more, you'll get more comfortable with it. You'll get quicker, and your hill starts will be faster. But for this example, I'll go ahead, take my hat off, and go down to the feet. So for this example, your hill start is all about the engagement point, which is right about here on the GTI. So, you also, on the GTI, I'll show this when I bring the camera back up, you'll have, the engine will rev itself up. Not all cars do that, but this one does. So you're going to practice finding that engagement point, which you already should be doing on a flat surface, so you'll most likely be comfortable with the engagement point. So just keep practicing getting it right to the engagement point. So just keep that motion, and you're going to keep it there, because when you start on a hill, you're going to want to keep it right there until you're moving, just like as if you were setting off without using the gas. Put my hat back on. Alright. Now, what I was saying is the GTI revs itself up. So when I get to the engagement point, your foot has to be on the brake. You'll see it revs itself up. Now there's a couple methods to getting started on a hill. First of all, you're going to want to put it in first. Now, some people use the e-brake instead of the foot brake so they can give it a little bit of gas to get it started. Now, you'll know when you're at the engagement point because you'll feel the car start to move forward. So I'll go ahead. I don't like using this. Every time I've tried it, I've stalled the car. It's just not comfortable for me. But I'll try it for the video. So like I said, you're going to want to rev it to 1500 RPM as you did before in the previous part. Get the clutch to that engagement point. You'll feel the car start to want to move. E-brake down. And see, that, it's just a little bit jerky for me, because I still rolled back a bit, so I released the clutch quicker to stop myself from rolling back, and it just wasn't very smooth. So I'll try the e-brake technique once more. I've only done that twice before this, so I don't really like using it, but if it's more comfortable for you, use it. Driving manual is all about, it's like cooking. You put your own spin on things to get the job done based on your tastes. So we'll go ahead, come to a stop, e-brake on. Find that engagement point, rev it up a little bit, clutch down, continue releasing the clutch, giving it a little bit more gas, and you're off. Now we'll try what I have developed as my favorite method for learning. And that's holding the brake, bringing the clutch to that engagement point where the car wants to move forward, and then switching over to the gas once you're at a point where the car won't roll back. It will hold itself on that hill. Keep in mind, you don't want to sit there and do this for hours on end, because you will overheat the clutch if you keep on doing this. So, up at that engagement point, off the brake. You see, I am not oh, yeah, that's because it has hill hold. I forgot to mention that. A lot of new cars and manuals now have what's known as hill hold. So until you touch the gas, or for 3 seconds, it will hold itself on a hill with the brake. So for example, I'm off the brake. Now it rolls back. So it gives you a little bit of a barrier. So in this case, get it to the engagement point, release the brake, little bit of gas, continue releasing that clutch slowly, and you're off. Try that once more. I'm gonna do 2 times for each method. Also, you're gonna wanna find a small hill. That's a good size hill. You might find, if you live in San Francisco, you're gonna find bigger hills than that. But, if I saw this as a beginner, I'd be very, very scared. I wanted to go for the extreme. For yourself, build your way up to it. Like I said, it's like running a marathon. You're not gonna do the 25 miles the first time you ever run. You're gonna do small runs to build up to it. So find yourself a little hill to get these motions and to get comfortable with the feeling of you rolling back and being able to find that engagement point. So, finding the engagement point, I feel the car want to move forward. I can release the brake. It's holding itself. Little bit of gas. You can feel it start to move forward. And I'm rolling. Now, this is where once you're comfortable with that, you've done a couple hill starts, this is where you can move on to what I call normal driving. Normal starts on a hill, using that hill start assist to your advantage. And this is why I say it's all about technique and speed, because it's about being able to find that engagement point, get it engaged, so the car won't roll back and you can go forward. So I'm not gonna touch the brake. I'm gonna give it a little bit of gas, and then just kind of let the car catch itself and move forward. So rolled back a little bit, but kept giving it gas until I felt the car slow down from rolling back. I knew I was at that engagement point, so that's when I had to be super smooth with the clutch to make sure I didn't stall. Try that once more. Give it a little bit of gas to get there. Find the engagement point and go. Now, because I've been driving manual for like 5 or 6 years as my daily, it's come very, very natural to me. So if your car has that hill start assist, you might not want to give it gas until it rolls itself back, to give you that extra time as a beginner. But for me, I rev it up to reduce the chances of stalling. And then it's all about feel. You'll know when you get to the engagement point because the car won't roll back. So once you feel it either start to slow down the roll backwards or not roll back at all, you know you're at the engagement point. And from there on out, it's just a matter of how smooth you are with the clutch and how much gas you give. Now, for an example, what happens if you're not smooth and you just, are a little too quick with things? Well, here's what happens. I mean, simple as that. If you're not smooth with things, you're gonna stall. Everybody stalls, and you know what? It's perfectly fine. So all in all, hill starts are not nearly as panic-inducing as everybody says they should be. It's just a matter of practice. Don't be on your first day of driving manual, be like, yeah, I'm gonna do a hill. You're gonna freak out and you're gonna become very discouraged. Get used to the car. Practice in flat surfaces before you go about doing this. See, right there, I didn't roll back at all. And that's just a matter of time. It's a matter of practice and getting yourself comfortable. So that's it for part 2. Hill starts. Part 3 is coming up next. I'm going to take the same car and we're going to practice rev matching and a little bit more advanced techniques for driving manual. And then part 4 will be coming about, where I do rev matching in a normal car, not a performance car. And then I might even do part 5, which is your flat foot shifting, quick shifting, and stuff like that for the really advanced stuff. But for right now, I will see you all in part 3.